In this video for auction tracking, I would like to show you, the user, how to create a consignment letter. And a consignment letter is a letter that you create when you sell something for your consignor and you want to pay your consignor. You go into the report screen and create a consignment letter, and it gives you all the information of as to how much money you owe your consignor. So I'll do a quick demo here and show you how easy that is to do. First, I'm going to log into the site. Okay, now I created a consignor named John Doe, and I recently sold a Loro Piana trench coat, and I would like to pay John Doe the money that I owe him on the sale of that trench coat. So briefly, I want to go into consignment first because I want to just show you briefly a little bit of information about John Doe. And I'll select John Doe, and John Doe, the way I set up John Doe is pretty simple. On the commission tier, I started with 0, and then I put a bunch of 9s underneath that, so that basically it would eliminate these numbers underneath, because nothing's going to sell for higher than that number. And the reason I did this is because I wanted to charge John Doe a 30% commission, so I would receive 30% of any sale for any item. And so that means that John Doe, of course, would be receiving 70% on any sale. And I also decided to pass all the eBay fees and all the PayPal fees on to John Doe. So he will receive 70% of whatever the item sells for, minus the eBay and PayPal fees. So with that information in mind, let's go back home, and now we'll create a consignment letter for John Doe, because I would like to pay him tomorrow, and therefore I want to print out the letter. To print out a consignment letter, we're going to go straight into the report screen, which is this icon right here. Once you're in the report screen menu, you're going to select the type of report that you want to create. And in this case, of course, we're going to do a consignment letter, and that's located at the bottom. So I'll click on consignment letter. For the report period, you can select any period you want. Now, I've only sold one item for John Doe, so based on the fact that it's just one item, it wouldn't matter if I put current week or the last 12 months. It's still only going to bring up one item. But in this case, I'll keep it simple. I'll select current week, because it did sell within this current week. And you can display all items, which are sold items, and still items that are listed. For this demo, I'm going to select sold, because that's what happened with John Doe. I sold a coat for him. So I'll click on sold, and then I'll generate the consignment letter. You click on generate report. Now it brings you to the consignee letter window, and all you have to do here now is just select which consignee you want to create the letter for. And as I stated earlier, it would be John Doe in this case. So I scroll down to John Doe, click on John Doe, and here is the information. The Loro Piana Storm System Overcoat, and that was an item I recently sold for John Doe, and it has the item number here as well. So in the box here, you'll see a check mark, and you want to make sure there's a check mark in the box. If not, you want to put a check. You want to check the box to make sure there is a check mark, and then you'll just click on proceed to consignment letter. And here it is. And here's the information for John Doe, and it says, Dear John Doe, for the period of 10/24/2010 to 10/24/7:01:50 p.m., the following items were either listed or sold on eBay on your behalf. Underneath that, you'll have the item number of the item that's sold. You'll have the description, which is the Loro Piana Storm System Overcoat. It shows the sales price, which is $199.95. Now, if you remember earlier, I passed all the eBay fees and PayPal fees onto John Doe. So out of the $199.95, we're going to subtract $11.37, and we're also going to deduct $6.39. And then my commission, which was 30%, if you remember, so my commission is $60, $59.99. And then when you subtract these numbers from the $199.95, you get John Doe's payment of $122.20. And once you create this letter, you can go back to the top of the page, and you can just select print report, and then it'll print out that letter for John Doe, and You just give them the $122.20, and it's can't get any simpler than that. Now, if you notice with the eBay fees, as you know, as an eBay seller, you know these fees can accumulate based on how many times you relist an item. In this case, I only listed it 1 week, so I was pretty fortunate that I didn't get hit with a lot of fees. But if you want to get a detailed breakdown of those eBay fees, you can come back to the item description and click on it, and you'll get a pop-up window, and it'll show you the date and each fee that was charged. So in this case, the eBay fees on 10/17 had an insertion fee of $1, and then on 10/24, a week later, it sold. I had a final value fee of $10.37, thus making up the $11.37 of accumulated eBay fees. And what's important to know about this is that as the seller, you're not responsible for any of these numbers. I mean, these numbers come in automatically, and Auctiontracking goes out to eBay and PayPal every 10 minutes, and it pulls in all this information. So the beautiful aspect of Auctiontracking is that you don't have to be an accountant. I don't have to go out and find these numbers. I don't have to log into PayPal and see that I got a $6.39 fee. And basically, Auctiontracking pulls it all in. And when I'm ready to create a letter, I just come in here and do it, and the information is there for me. And I don't think you can't get much simpler than that.